Hello and welcome. This is Wilrens for Create the Learning Site, the place to go deeper in your understanding of the Bible. It's easy to overlook, because there are not so many data points, the flow of time in Exodus through Deuteronomy. I'm going to present an exercise that I like to include in teaching the book of Numbers, as it provides a clear picture of Israel's journey and stay at Mount Sinai. It also strikingly illustrates and supports some of the main themes of Numbers. The exercise is simple. We collect each date given from Exodus 12 until the beginning of Deuteronomy and put it on a simple timeline in the format year, month, date, with the year of the Exodus itself as year 1. All in all, there are 12 verses that give us a date and an event, and we're going to look at each of these dates and put them on this timeline. We start with Exodus 12 verse 6. We already briefly touched on this. The actual Exodus itself, with the Passover celebration in the evening. This is the first year, the first month, and day 14. The Israelites arrive at Mount Sinai 2.5 months later, as indicated in Exodus 19 verse 1, and this date is given as year 1, and then the first day of the first month, of the 4th month. Then comes Exodus 40 verse 17. A tabernacle is erected. The Israelites have now been at Mount Sinai for 9 months. And it's the first day of the new year. So year 2, month 1, day 1. Leviticus 8, verse 10 and following is about the consecration of Aaron and his sons to be priests. No explicit date is given, but the text does make clear this begins on the day that the tabernacle is set up. So it's the exact day here, the day 1 of the new year. Then comes Numbers 1 verse 1. Numbers begins exactly 1 month later with the census. This is year 2, and then month 2, day 1. Numbers 7 verse 1 gives us the next date. Now this is when the princes of the 12 tribes begin bringing their offerings for the tabernacle on the day that it is set up. So this event actually predates the census in Numbers chapter 1, meaning we actually jump back 1 month here in 7 verse 1. That day, erecting the tabernacle, consecrating the priests, beginning to receive the gifts. This was a busy day for Moses. So it's actually also this day here, 2-1-1. Then comes Numbers 9 verse 1. The date here is incomplete, but must be in the first half of the month, or the people are commanded to keep the Passover for the first time since leaving Egypt. So this would be year 2, the first month. Well, I'm not quite sure about the exact day. Numbers 9 verse 15, a sort of a flashback to the day the tabernacle was erected and the cloud covered it for the first time. So this too actually is year 2, month 1, day 1. So let's see, the next one is Numbers 10 verse 11. The people leave Mount Sinai. This is in year 2, month 2, on day 20. So notice that they've been at Mount Sinai for less than a year. This is their stay at Mount Sinai. The next date, Numbers 20 verse 1. This is an incomplete one. It does not specify the day or the year. It gives an incomplete date for Miriam's death. But it's likely to have happened at the beginning of the 40th year in the first month. Why the 40th year? Well, in this chapter, Numbers chapter 20, the Israelites are already traveling north to the plains of Moab. And later in this chapter, Aaron also dies. And we find out in the next reference the date for Aaron's death, which also was in the 40th year. So presumably we've jumped far here. We're now in year 40. That is certainly true for Numbers 33 verse 38, which refers to Aaron's death. And this is dated to year 40, month 5, and the first day of the month. Then we have Deuteronomy 1 verse 2, which is not a date for any event, but it tells us it takes 11 days from Mount Sinai to Kadesh Barnea on the southern boundary of the Promised Land. So that's something to keep in mind. 11 days from Sinai to the borders. One more date, Deuteronomy 1 verse 3. Moses delivers his final speech on this date, not many weeks before the Israelites cross the Jordan, which will be in the beginning of the next year, year 41. But this speech is dated to year 40, month 11, and day 1. And so that completes the wilderness wanderings. So, as pointed out before, the trek from Egypt to Mount Sinai took 2.5 months. Israel remained at Mount Sinai for, to be precise, 10 months and 20 days, so a little over a year. Together with the Exodus itself, this was their formative experience, a little like an intensive discipleship training program. But it was not a long period. Then they traveled to the Promised Land, or to the southern border of the land, and this could have been completed soon after their departure from Sinai, because according to Deuteronomy 1 verse 2, as we've seen, it only takes 11 days to make that trek. Okay, with a large group, children and cattle, perhaps longer, but still, they could have entered the land within perhaps 14 months of leaving Egypt. Instead, it took 40 years. As often noticed, it took less than a year to take Israel out of Egypt, but it took 40 years to take Egypt out of Israel. Now, what do we know about those 40 years in the wilderness? Or to be more precise, if we exclude the time at Sinai and the journey up north, the Israelites spent about 38 years wandering through the wilderness after their failure at Kadesh Barnea. That's sort of squeezed in here, those 38 years. Most of it after Numbers 15 and before Numbers 18. What do we know about these 38 years? Not much. The record of this period is sparse. We read about Israel's defeat in battle right after their failure in Numbers chapter 14. There's a short narrative about a Sabbath breaker included in Numbers chapter 15, but most of Numbers 15 consists of legislation. And then we have the rebellion of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram in Numbers 16 and 17, which probably occurred soon after turning away from Kadesh Barnea, although we don't know that for sure. And Numbers 18 and 19 again mostly contains legislation. In a subtle way, the text snubs the first generation by largely skipping over their final 38 years. After the 12 spies and Korah's rebellion, there's nothing more to say. And yet, right here, something remarkable stands out. Numbers 15 begins with the words, "When you come into the land that you are to inherit, which I am giving you." Immediately after a grave rebellion, and just before an even greater one, God reaffirms his promise without wavering. He has not changed his mind. His words stand. I will give you this land.
The show will be starting in just a few moments. Thank you for your patience. The show will be starting in just a few moments.